Club Net being held on a repeater W0TX. This meeting is held on the air every Sunday evening at about 8:30 p.m. Good evening, my name is Ryan. My call sign is WR7F, Whiskey Romeo 7 Foxtrot. I'll be your net control station, transmitting from Centennial, Colorado. If there is any emergency or priority traffic during this net, say break at any pause, and the net will be suspended until the emergency or priority traffic is completed. This net is the Denver Radio Club is for Denver Radio Club members and all interested radio amateurs. We're here to share information concerning any ham-related activities. Regular meetings for the Denver Radio Club are held on the third Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. These are held online. Please check W0TX.org for more information. They are also streamed and archived on YouTube at youtube.com/Denver Radio Club, all one word. The next meeting will be held on Wednesday, August 19th. An Elmer session is held at 6:30 p.m. just prior to our monthly meeting. The session addresses any amateur radio questions you might have. So whether you are new to amateur radio or interested in some new application of amateur radio, this session is where you can get help. Also, every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. except the third Wednesday when our monthly meeting is held, there is a learning net held on 145.490 megahertz and 448.625 megahertz. This is another area where you can find answers to your amateur radio related questions. When we get to the check-in portion of the net, you can follow along if you would like. Visit W0TX.org/check-in. There's a spreadsheet that shows the current check-ins along with basic info about the caller. Again, that's W0TX.org/check-in. As a General Interest Club, we provide emergency communications for the Salvation Army, the City of Wheat Ridge Police Department, the City of Lakewood Police Department, and the West Metro Fire District. We're always looking for members who would like to participate in the support. Please contact our club president if you'd like to help. Our current president is Kevin Schmidt, K0KPS. Kevin's telephone number is 303-475-9234. The Denver Radio Club website address is W0TX.org. And again, Kevin's telephone number is 303-475-9234. Denver Radio Club also participates in the ARRL Volunteer Examiner Program. If you have a need for VE testing, our VE team is available to support you. Please contact your VE team lead, Robert Pickett, K0RAP, at at Kilo 0 Romeo Alpha Papa at W0TX.org. The Denver Radio Club VE team stands ready to support VE testing for large or small groups, including groups of 2 or more people. This is the Denver Radio Club Net, W0TX, and this is WR7F, serving as net control. Are there any special announcements or bulletins for the net this evening? If so, please call now.
W0TX.
W0ETV, go ahead.
W0ETV, Lance and Aurora, good evening, gentlemen. Mile High VE team ran a test session yesterday morning at HRO, and we awarded 2 extra class licenses, 2 general class, and 1 tech class. And W0ETV back in net control.
much, Lance. Pretty exciting. Let's see here. Before regular check-ins, I'd like to welcome and invite any visiting radio amateurs to check out the Denver Radio Club net this evening. During this and other nets, a 100 Hz PL repeater access tone is required. You can use either 145.490 MHz with a negative 600 kHz offset, or 448.625 MHz, 449.350 MHz, or a DMR repeater on 446.7875, all with negative 500 MHz offsets. The DMR repeater uses time slot 2. In addition, you can use the All-Star node 42851, Echo Link node 4140, or DMR Brian Master Talk Group 310804. Are there any visiting radio amateurs who would like to check into the Denver Radio Club net tonight? Please call now. Next, I'd like to welcome and invite any newly licensed or recently upgraded radio amateurs to check in. Please call now. I'll now take regular check-ins in groups. Please let me know if you have traffic when you check in, and I'll get back to you. First, radio amateurs who call suffixes begin with the letters A through E, Alpha through Echo. Your call assignment and name, please.
Kilo 10, Delta Papa Romeo, Paul and Aurora. W0TX repeater.
Kilo Charlie 0, Charlie Zulu, Bob and Thornton.
Whiskey Bravo 0, Alpha Kilo Victor, WB0 AKV Rich. Kilo Foxtrot 0, Alpha Whiskey Charlie Brian Centennial, no traffic.
Control, I'd like to acknowledge N0ETV Lance, K0DPR Paul, KC0CZ Bob, WB0AKV Rich, KF0AWC. Please call Foxtrot through Juliet F through J. Please call now. Your call sign and name, please.
W0GV Jerry Westminster.
W0 Foxtrot Juliet Greg and Golden, no traffic.
Net Control acknowledges W0GV Jerry and W0FJ Gregory. Kilo through Oscar, K through O. Please call now.
Whiskey 0, Lima Foxtrot, Orland and Golden, no traffic, over. Kilo Echo 0, Oscar Sierra India, Tom Highlands Ranch, no traffic.
Control acknowledges WW0LF Orlin and KE0OSI Tom. P through T, Papa through Tango, your call sign and name, please.
Whiskey Bravo 2, Sierra Hotel Romeo, Stanton, Denver, no traffic.
November 0, Tango Romeo Papa, Jim in Lakewood.
Kilo 4, Romeo November Yankee, Ronnie and Thornton, no traffic.
Net Control, WR7F. Net Control acknowledges WB2 SHR Stan in 0TRP Jim and K4 RNY Ronnie. U through Z, uniform through Zulu. Your call sign and name, please.
This is Kilo Echo 0, Yankee Kilo Victor, Bill in Lakewood, no traffic.
Net Control acknowledges KE0YKV Bill. Now the entire alphabet, Alpha through Zulu. If we missed you, your call sign and name, please.
K1DBC, I do see you have me checked in. I'm checking in a couple of other people from our YouTube live stream. Rodney, first name. We then had Dustin, K0BF, and Kenny, KD0CGF. So that was Rodney, K0BF, and KD0CGF. I do have traffic as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. I got you, K1DBC and K0BF. What was that last call sign? It was Kilo Delta or Kilo Bravo?
Delta, Kilo Delta 0 Charlie Golf Fox.
Gotcha. Thanks for checking in. KD0CGF. We'll get back to your traffic in a second. Next, I'll invite our club president, Kevin Schmidt, K0KPS, to cover club business.
Thank you, Ryan, for taking the net tonight. First of all, I hope everybody received a copy of the roundtable that came out earlier in the week. And in there's always important information. But I want to address a couple items with repeaters. First of all, on the roundtable, we mentioned that our DMR Brandmeister repeater was having some issues, which is the 446.7875 repeater, Centennial Cone. It had some audio input issues in that operators who were trying to make calls, their signal was going out, but they were unable to hear the traffic coming back in, and hence they couldn't reply. And sometimes they were walking on other conversations that were already in progress as they could not hear that traffic. I want to thank Orlin, WW0LF, for his efforts on going up to Centennial Cone and fixing the repeater, so it should be back fully operational. And if it's not, we'd certainly like to hear from our users out there when one of our repeaters doesn't work. Let me drop for a moment. Next, we had a request for our repeater to be used tomorrow, the 147.330, for an exercise in Arvada that should take place around 8 a.m. in the morning and could go as long as 1700 or 5 p.m. in the evening. It's an exercise, and according to the FCC, amateur radio signals are used for emergency situations, and it's imperative for a lot of people that might be responding to such emergencies to be able to test their radio networks, and the club has now offered them the use of the 330 repeater tomorrow for that exercise. So if you do hear traffic tomorrow, it's certainly been authorized by the club. So be mindful if you use the 330 repeater, as we do have other repeaters for traffic in the metro area. As Ryan mentioned earlier, our next club meeting is going to be Wednesday, August 19th. The club meeting starts at 1900 hours or 7 p.m. local time. We have Bob, Whiskey Bravo 0, Victor Golf Delta, who will talk about 8 HF channel soundings, which should be a highly informative meeting. So certainly tune in on the 19th. And like you said, we do have a learning net that starts at 1800 hours, 6 p.m. Before that club meeting, and it will be a virtual-only club meeting. So you can go to our W0TX site and see the sign-in for the web address for our Google Meet for that club meeting. And finally, on August 23rd, which is a Sunday, the Rocky Mountain Hamfest will take place up at Adams County Fairgrounds. It's usually the one that the Denver Radio Club had up until about a year ago. So if you're looking at buying or selling any equipment, take a look at RM Ham and their Hamfest at Adams County Fairgrounds up near Brighton. So it's always a pretty large event up there. So hopefully we'll see a lot of the club members at that Hamfest. And last but not least, a couple items. We're always looking for net operators to fill in on Sunday night. It's a fairly easy job. We provide the script, and as long as you don't have any mic fright and can type in call signs on our check-in list, you could be good to go. So if you have an interest in becoming a net controller, please email me at president@w0tx.org. And finally, since a lot of us live in the metro area, we have King Soopers, or the Kroger Alternative City Market. You can sign up to have a percentage of your purchase, which doesn't cost you anymore, donated to the club through their community rewards. So if you go to kingsoopers.com, scroll to the bottom of the page, and there's the community rewards tab that you can click on to sign up, and it's painless, and we do receive a little bit of money, for the club through your purchases on food that you normally have to eat anyway. So unless there's any questions from the club members, I will turn it back over to Ryan. So this is Kevin, Kilo 0, Kilo Papa Sierra, back to net.
Thank you, Kevin. This is WR7F. Interesting news about the King Super Community Awards. I'll definitely check that out. Does anyone have any questions for Kevin? Please call now. Right, let's go to K1 DBC Doron. Your traffic, please.
Thank you so much for taking a net. This is K1 DBC on the DMR side of things. I think we are still experiencing an intermittent problem with our XPR repeater. It did show offline again today. If you look at the brandmeister.network dashboard, it was showing offline. I put together a script, a Linux script basically, to check the API. And when it checks the API, it actually logs in and it resets the connection. So I think we can actually fix this remotely when it happens. So that should happen now, but we still might have an underlying issue. Also on the DMR side of things, again, I have interlinked to our analog repeaters, and I think I did fix the audio issue. The DMR audio coming into the analog side of things sounds a lot louder now. So if anybody's interested in testing that, that is working as well. And one last piece of traffic here. Let me drop for a moment. Also on our club website, W0TX.org, under the menu Nets and Repeaters, there is now an option for net minutes. So I've gone ahead and gone through some of our YouTube videos and scraped the speech and audio and converted that into text, and then converted those into net minutes. So if anybody's interested, those are all available publicly on there as well. This is K1DBC. I will give it back to Net Control.
Thank you for that, Doran. This is Ryan, W7F, Net Control. This is the Denver Radio Club Net, W0TX, and my call sign is WR7F, your net control station. Does anyone have any other comments, information, or business for the net? Please call now. Are there any late check-ins? Alpha through Zulu. Please call now. Info about upcoming contests can be found at contestcalendar.com and arrl.org/contest-calendar. Two other reminders. The High Noon Net is daily at 12 noon, early check-ins at 11:30 on 7.240 megahertz on the 40-meter band. The Salvation Army's Saturn Net is 1500 Zulu, 9 a.m. MDT, Monday through Saturday at 14.265 megahertz on the 20-meter band. To find more information on the Denver Radio Club repeaters, please see our website, W0TX.org/repeaters. Keep in mind Kevin's notice about the 330 repeater tomorrow. Your support of the Denver Radio Club is greatly appreciated. If you'd like to participate in any of the many club activities, please contact our president, Kevin Schmidt, K0KPS. I would like to thank everyone for checking into the Denver Radio Club Net tonight. Your support is greatly appreciated. Tonight we had 18 check-ins. The Denver Radio Club Net, W0TX, is closed at 20:53 local time, and the repeater is available for regular use. Again, this is WR7F, your net control station. I hope you all have a great week. 73.
This is K1DBC. In case anybody's interested in sticking around, we'll play the amateur radio newsline in a few minutes here. This is K1DBC.
W0TX repeater.
All right, this is K1DBC. The amateur radio newsline will play in about 10 seconds, and then about 10 to 15 minutes after that, it will stop, and the repeaters will be available for regular use.
Node 516228 connected to node 4.
Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2545 with a release date of Friday, August 7th, 2026 to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST, a historic space station contact for students in Nairobi, Kenya. Brazil's hands honor a priest who was a radio pioneer. And a 10-year-old girl in Indonesia becomes a DX champion. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2545 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, amateur radio's first independent on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now reporting from Charleston, West Virginia, here's Jim Dameron, NATMW.
Our top story is the historic first contact between amateur radio on the International Space Station and the African nation of Kenya. Kevin Trotman, N5PRE, brings us up to date.
The voice from space belonged to astronaut Sophie Adno, KJ5LTN, using the call sign OR4ISS. Back here on Earth, the voices were those of students at a school in Nairobi, Kenya, selected earlier this year to be the first in an African country to participate in amateur radio on the International Space Station. It was hosted by the Kenya Space Agency on the 5th of August with the help of a telebridge via ON4ISS in Belgium. The students posed 11 questions ranging over a variety of topics. The event was a big moment, not just for the students, but Kenya's relatively young space agency, established in 2017 to advance that nation's agenda for using space technology to boost socioeconomic development. To view the QSO, visit the links to the Kenya Space Agency's YouTube channel in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. This is Kevin Trotman, N5PRE.
Amateur radio station PR2LL went on the air late last month in Sao Paulo, Brazil, a fitting tribute to a radio pioneer who was both a man of God and a man of science. We hear more details from Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
Even as Guglielmo Marconi was busy making headlines with his early experiments in radio telegraphy, a Brazilian priest named Father Roberto Lundell de Moura held fast to his belief in the power of radio telephony, the wireless transmission of the human voice. The priest's successful work advanced wireless communications at the turn of the 20th century. On the 25th of July, Hams in his native Brazil celebrated his legacy with the inauguration of the Landel de Moura Memorial and its permanent on-site amateur radio station. The Radio Shack installation was the work of many members of the São Paulo chapter of the Liga de Amadores Brasileiros de Radiomissão, Brazil's amateur radio society. It's located inside a carefully curated memorial conceived and maintained by the priest's great-grandnephew, Silvio Landel de Moura. It contains an array of educational displays of his inventions, patents, and other scientific accomplishments. The memorial's ham radio curator is Edson, PY2FWM, a member of Labre, Sao Paulo. On Inauguration Day, the priest's unwavering vision of radio telephony and all its possibilities was evident. The ham's QSOs included a 40-meter contact with Father Casimiro, PY5ZHP in Curitiba, southern Brazil, and a chat with Peter KP2 US, the donor of the station's equipment, who was contacted in Florida using DMR. This is Jeremy Bucci for NJH.
To learn more about the memorial and to have a look inside, visit the website, which is bilingual. The link appears in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. For the first time, a school for the deaf in Pakistan has received emergency radio training thanks to amateur radio. Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF, has those details.
The training session conducted in late July was a first for the Pakistan Amateur Radio Society. Although the National Ham Radio Organization fulfills its role frequently at universities by giving instruction in emergency communications and preparedness, this workshop was different. The instructor Asad Ullah Mawat, AP2 AUM, worked with managers, administrators, and other team members at a social services group known as Deaf Reach, which assists deaf and hearing-impaired children and adults throughout Pakistan. Asad, the Ham Society's vice president, told Newsline that the training combined classroom instruction with practical demonstrations that included the setup of an off-grid solar-powered communications network. The lessons were designed to help those at school coordinate their emergency communications and make vital decisions during a crisis. Assad told Newsline that because 10 of the 90 participants were deaf, training was also given in Morse code through the use of lights, something that he said really sparked interest during the workshop. He said that there are plans to provide training to the students. Deaf Reach was established in 1989 as an educational and vocational program of the charitable organization, the Family Educational Services Foundation. This is Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
And we add this note that Assad told Newsline that he attributed much of the success of the workshop to Ali Raza, a shortwave listener who's a member of the Pakistan Amateur Radio Society. He said Ali arranged for all the material and equipment to be available and was present throughout the program. A 10-year-old girl in Indonesia who received her amateur radio license in July of 2024 has been declared the World Youth Champion among operators 14 and younger who participated in the CQ DX Marathon program. Jason Daniels, VK2LAW, has the details.
Announcing the championship achievement of Nala Ayla Marisha, Yankee Delta 1 November Alpha Victor. The administrators of the CQDX Marathon program said, quote, her accomplishment demonstrates that age is no barrier to success in amateur radio and international DXing, end quote. Nala, who is 10 years old, is being recognised for her achievements throughout 2025. in which she worked the most DXCC entity CQ zones during the 12-month period. She will receive a Youth Winner plaque, which is being sponsored by Anne, Whiskey Alpha 1 Sierra, of the Young Ladies Radio League. This award to an especially young operator is one of numerous awards conferred during this annual operating event. The committee said that it hoped that Nala's accomplishment would inspire other youngsters. This is Jason Daniels, VK2 LAW.
We at Newsline offer our congratulations to Radio DARC, the weekly news program produced by Germany's National Amateur Radio Society. Radio DARC has released show number 600. Listeners throughout Europe and the Middle East are able to hear the music and news broadcast via the program's primary distribution medium, good old-fashioned short-wave broadcast AM, transmitted out of England and Germany. The show can also be heard on local FM or DAB Plus stations, as well as by way of podcast. For you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the KJ3LR repeater in Bradenton, Florida, at 10 p.m. local time on Fridays. The OMIC Amateur Radio Association will be meeting on Saturdays on both Echolink and Zoom to continue the group's initiative to build connections with historically black college and universities throughout the United States. The weekly sessions will be at 1800 UTC, which is 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Guests are encouraged to attend to help OMIC fulfill its commitment to the campus's faculty, students, and friends, and to support amateur radio and STEM activities on the various campuses. Hams can check in by way of the Echolink Conference at node 996305. Guests who are not yet licensed amateurs can check into Zoom using the room number and passcode that appears in the text version of this week's newscast script at arnewsline.org. In its latest filing with the U.S. Federal Communications Commission, Amazon has become the latest company hoping to join the field of providers offering direct-to-device smartphone services. Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, brings us up to date.
Using a constellation of more than 5,000 low Earth orbit satellites, Amazon is looking to provide global mobile network services, delivering direct-to-device connection via the Globalstar spectrum. The company has filed an application with the FCC seeking approval for use of spectrum bands at 1.6 and 2.4 gigahertz for mobile phones and the Internet of Things devices. Satellite tracking, control, telemetry, as well as links to gateways would be provided by the Ka and V-band spectrum. The filing on July 24th was being made on behalf of what is called the Amazon Leo D2D system, and has a primary purpose of filling in gaps in areas where terrestrial coverage does not exist. In a deal announced in April and expected to close in 2027, Amazon will be acquiring Globalstar for $11 billion. In the U.S., the U.K., and Europe, increasing numbers of providers are rolling out direct-to-device capability. Carriers currently covering the U.S. include Verizon and T-Mobile. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY. The DXpedition to
Tokelau has been given access to the island territory this November from the government, as we hear from Jim Meachins at L2BHF.
The Tokelau DXpedition team has received the necessary written permission to bring the team to the New Zealand Island Territory in November. The Perseverance DX Group and the Western Washington DX Club made the announcement in late July, saying that plans are going forward for the 14-day activation on the atoll, where the operators will be on the HF bands using CW, SSB, RTTY, and FT8 in Foxhound mode. This will be the first DXpedition to Tokelau since the ZK3A activation in 2019. Organisers said they are now coordinating with the government to handle the logistics for sleep and meal accommodation, as well as their operating location. The call sign has not yet been announced. Tokelau is about 480 kilometres or 300 miles north of Samoa. This is Jim Meacham, L2BHF.
In the world of DX, the team of operators with the call sign C37EME is using EME to make QSOs from the Principality of Andorra through to August 10th. Lance W7GJ will be on a 6-meter EME DXpedition using the call sign 44GJ from Lola Island, iota number OC149 in the Solomon Islands from the 28th of August through to the 11th of September. He'll be monitoring 50.313 and using FT8 occasionally. Listen for Eric, K9GY, using the call sign C6AY from Eleuthera, iota number NA001 in the Bahamas, through to the 10th of August. Eric is using CW on 80 through 6 meters and will be active in the CW portion of the WAE DX contest on the 8th and 9th of August. Jasic SP5APW will be using the call sign 3W9C from Han Sanhan Rai, iota number AS128 in Vietnam, from the 4th through to the 12th of September. He'll be using SSB and FT8 on 20, 15, and 10 meters, but his primary operation will be on 6 meters. For additional operating information about these stations or their QSL details, visit QRZ.com. There are few amateur radio experiences that are higher than even a soda summit in the Austrian Alps. And the youthful participants in the recent Youngsters on the Air camp in Region 1 got to experience both, as we hear from Dave Lee, M9TLB.
By bus, by hiking, and even by cable car, young campers representing 29 countries enjoyed a view from the Austrian Alps and a taste of activating summits on the air on the 31st of July, after almost a full week of a Youngsters on the Air camp. They field-tested the QRP rigs they had built in a workshop, and they simply took in the panorama, some 2,000 meters above sea level. Although they found the vistas breathtaking, the highest altitude experience during their week at the camp was already behind them. 2 days earlier, the 94 campers made contact with astronaut Sophie Adenot, KJ5LTN, aboard the International Space Station, with the help of VK1 ISS Telebridge Station in Australia. Their camp stay included a visit from another prominent figure, this time back home on Earth. Hans Summers, G0UPL, founder of QRP Labs, spent time guiding the campers in a workshop where they built his company's QMX Plus transceivers. Campers spent their final day fox hunting in search of 5 hidden transmitters with the help of the Austrian ARDF team. Perhaps, too, with a week full of YOTA behind them, the campers also found something else, a bigger place in the world of amateur radio. This is Dave Lee, M9TLB.
With thanks to Assad Olamarwat, AP2AUM, Amateur Radio Daily, Amazon, AMSAT News, Eris, ARRL, Bill, PY2BIL. CNET, CQDX Marathon Award. David Behar, K7DB. DefReach, 425DX News. Jesse Alexander, WB2IFS. Kenya Space Agency. Landell Demora website. OK2YLQ blog. QRZ.com. Shortwaveradio.de. Space News. Tokelau DXpedition Team. Wireless Institute of Australia. Youngsters on the Air. And you, our listeners, that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org. And know we appreciate you all. We also remind listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Jim Dameron, NATMW in Charleston, West Virginia, saying 73. As always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2026. Amateur Radio Newsline retains ownership of its material even when retransmitted elsewhere. All rights are reserved.
Information about this amateur radio, voice-over IP audio news service is on the web at newsline.rfnet.link.